Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating psychological blueprint called Rahu in the 10th house. But, to truly grasp this source material, I want you to use your imagination for a second. Picture me as your managing director, and you're a junior analyst sitting right across my desk. We need to have a very direct, honest conversation about navigating the absolutely brutal world of modern finance. We're going to talk about your ambition and exactly why the view from your shiny new promotion doesn't look quite like you thought it would. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. You've just made the leap. You leveraged absolutely everything. Worked those brutal 100-hour weeks, survived on 2 a.m. seamless deliveries, navigated all the toxic office politics, and you finally landed that coveted vice president spot. You're officially in middle management. But why do you still feel so empty? Well, according to our sources, a core symptom of this specific psychological blueprint is that you achieve your career goals at warp speed, yet you still feel like something massive is missing. It's this painful paradox. I mean, you thought crossing this finish line would bring relief, right? A sense of arrival, maybe even happiness? Instead, you woke up the day after your promotion, looked at your new title, and just felt this hollow ache. The achievement is definitely there, but the lasting satisfaction completely bypassed you. Think about the harsh reality of the finance climb for a second. You're an analyst, basically surviving on caffeine and sheer willpower, just trying to fix pitchbook font sizes at 3 in the morning without making a single mistake. By year 4, you hit associate. You're managing the new analyst and thinking you finally have some control. And then, around year 7, bam, you hit the VP role. You're transitioning into middle management. We so often treat this timeline like an endless mountain climb. You were told the VP role was the peak. But as you're standing there right now, out of breath in your fleece vest, you're realizing it's actually a false summit. Our source material points out that for professionals with this specific ambition profile, professional success simply breeds new ambitions instead of providing lasting satisfaction. You haven't reached the top of the mountain at all. You've just unlocked a ticket to an even steeper, colder, and way more treacherous climb. To really understand why you feel this way, we have to look at what drives you. You are naturally drawn to the unconventional, ambitious, and super high visibility paths. This isn't just about paying the bills for you, is it? Our sources highlight that you take bold career risks in pursuit of greater success and expansion. You didn't just want a safe, quiet job in the back office. No way. You wanted to be right in the M&N bullpen or out on the trading floor, where the stakes are the absolute highest and literally everyone is watching. That fierce drive for expansion pushed you to take those massive, bold risks to secure your middle management spot. But here's the catch. That exact same gravitational pull toward high-stakes visibility is what keeps your engine running entirely too hot. And that brings us to the core definition of what we're analyzing today, Rahu in the 10th house. Think of this not just as some esoteric concept, but as a very real, observable psychological blueprint where career ambition feels completely restless and is never, ever satisfied. This right here is the engine of your professional restlessness. When you're operating under this blueprint, reaching a goal doesn't trigger that nice reward response in your brain that says, okay, relax now. Actually, scratch that. It does the exact opposite. Reaching a goal immediately triggers a deficit response. It just breeds a new ambition. You get the VP title and instantly you're obsessing over the director title. The finish line is an illusion. It just keeps moving 10 yards further down the field every single time you get close to it. Now, what's really interesting here is that this internal restlessness doesn't happen in a vacuum. As our sources point out, comparing your progress with others becomes a recurring professional challenge. In modern finance, you are literally surrounded by other high achievers. You're sitting in a glass office and you're constantly looking left and right. Did they get a larger bonus? Were they put on a better deal? Did they get the nod from the MD in the morning meeting? This constant lateral comparison fuels a massive amount of professional anxiety. It takes your own internal restlessness and essentially pours gasoline on it, making you feel like you're somehow falling behind, even when you're objectively moving forward. And this comparison game creates a massive distortion. You're constantly judging their highlight reel against your internal reality. You see your peers' public status, their shiny promotions on LinkedIn, the recognition they get in the quarterly newsletter. But what you are experiencing on the inside is restless ambition and deep dissatisfaction. What you fail to realize is that they're likely experiencing the exact same internal reality, but you're completely blinded by the shiny public image of their career achievements. You're essentially comparing your messy, anxious, behind-the-scenes footage to their perfectly edited, Oscar-winning trailer. When you get caught in that distortion, you fall straight into the validation trap. You begin constantly seeking higher status, craving greater influence, and demanding more recognition. You become utterly obsessed with how you're perceived by the firm, by your peers, and by the industry as a whole. recognition and public image start to feel far more important to you than they actually are to outsiders. You become trapped in this really toxic cycle of constant striving, where you're no longer working because you love the work or because you're growing, but simply because you desperately need that external applause to validate your existence. And this breakdown brilliantly illustrates the danger of that trap, because it shows exactly where your self-worth ends up living. Our sources warn that career achievements can become way too closely tied to your sense of self-worth. In this scenario, 85% of your value as a human being is tied up in public recognition. Another 10% is tied to outperforming those peers we just talked about. And a tiny, totally neglected 5% is reserved for your actual inner values. Your career achievements haven't just advanced your bank account, they've dangerously consumed your entire identity. If the market turns or you miss a single promotion cycle, your entire foundation crumbles, all because you've outsourced your self-worth to a corporation. We absolutely have to talk about the emotional cost of this. There is a profound psychological toll that comes from ignoring your inner values just to maintain a public image. When you abandon your internal compass to chase applause, you experience a deep, pervasive personal dissatisfaction. You might be wearing a flawless tailored suit and sitting in a corner office, but internally, you're completely bankrupt. You're playing a character that the industry demands rather than actually developing the person you are. That empty feeling you had when you got the middle management promotion, that is the emotional cost coming due. That is the invoice for abandoning your inner values. And honestly, the cruelest part of this blueprint, it doesn't even give you a break when things are going well. Even during successful periods, that restlessness pushes you right toward the next goal. You could be absolutely crushing it. You could be bringing in record revenue, leading the top deals, getting stellar reviews across the board. But because of this psychological framing, you can't even enjoy the view from the false summit. That deep-seated restlessness immediately looks for the next cliff to scale. You literally cannot celebrate a victory because your brain is already catastrophizing about how you're going to achieve the next one. It's an endless, exhausting mountain climb that offers zero plateau for rest. So the crucial point is this. You must learn the vital difference between chasing public validation and achieving genuine growth. Chasing validation is endless. It completely relies on other people telling you that you matter. Genuine growth, on the other hand, is internal. It relies on you developing your skills, your character, and your resilience, regardless of who is watching. Transitioning to middle management shouldn't just be about getting a fancy new title to show off at networking events. It really should be an opportunity to grow into a leader, to mentor others, and to develop a true mastery of your field that provides internal satisfaction, completely independent of public validation. Listen, if you're going to survive in this industry without burning out entirely, you need concrete, actionable steps to shift your mindset right now. First, you must consciously detach your self-worth from your career achievements. You are not your job title, and you are sure as heck not your bonus structure. Second, stop comparing your progress with your peers. Just put your blinders on. Their highlight reel has absolutely nothing to do with your reality. And third, redefine success based on genuine internal growth. Start asking yourself, did I learn something new today? Did I handle that crisis with integrity? Rather than, did the managing director notice me in the meeting? Let's see how this builds. Because in the grand scheme of this endless, brutal mountain climb of modern finance, there is literally only one person whose internal fulfillment truly matters: yours. You are the only one who has to wake up with yourself, the only one who has to manage the stress, and the only one who will look back on this career in 30 years. If you spend your entire professional life chasing the number one spot in everyone else's eyes, you are going to end up completely forgetting who you actually are. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Are you climbing your own mountain, or are you just trying to be seen at the top of theirs? If you're just chasing the visibility, the status, and the public validation that this Rahu in the 10th house blueprint pushes you toward, you will climb forever and never, ever find peace. But if you can transition your mindset, if you can really focus on genuine internal growth, you can find real satisfaction even in the most intense corners of the financial world. The choice of which mountain to climb is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I'll catch you in the next analysis.